Idi Amin, the brutal force that transformed Uganda into a kingdom of fear and chaos. Idi Amin Dada was born on May 17, 1925, in Kiboko, Uganda, into a humble family shaped by rural life and the difficulties of a colonial society under British rule. From childhood, Amin witnessed inequality, authority imposed without negotiation, and the contrast between military discipline and the vulnerability of peasant life. These formative years cultivated in him a disturbing mix of ambition, resentment, and a sense of order that would later manifest in an extreme form of absolute power. During his youth, Amin joined the British colonial army, where he discovered his talent for military discipline and rigid obedience, while also developing an unpredictable and authoritarian character. He learned to combine physical strength with strategic cunning, rising quickly through the army ranks and building a reputation as a man capable of controlling those around him, even through fear. After Uganda's independence in 1962, Amin continued his military career and began to involve himself in the politics of the new nation, first as a protector and later as an adversary of civilian leaders. His ambition was clear: total power without restrictions, and the transformation of the country according to his own vision, a vision that blended nationalism, paranoia, and a complete disregard for ethical boundaries. In 1971, after a military coup, Idi Amin assumed the presidency of Uganda, establishing a regime quickly characterized by brutality, arbitrariness, and systematic terror. His government not only redefined the politics of the country but also turned daily life into an exercise in fear and submission. Public executions, disappearances, and forced displacements became expressions of his power, while his speeches often mixed nationalist pride with veiled threats and an almost theatrical authoritarianism. Under his rule, tens of thousands of Ugandans lost their lives, including officials, intellectuals, opponents, and members of ethnic minorities, victims of political purges and ethnic violence campaigns. The economy suffered severe setbacks, and the expulsion of the Asian community in 1972 further destabilized commerce and urban life. Despite his image as a strongman, Amin built a kingdom based on improvisation, whim, and the manipulation of fear, where loyalty was rewarded with privilege and disobedience punished with death. Amin also sought to project his power beyond Uganda's borders, adopting the posture of a fearsome regional leader, becoming involved in conflicts with neighboring countries, and creating a narrative of national sovereignty that justified his excesses. His speeches, often incoherent but forceful, aimed to impress both his citizens and the international community, although his reputation soon became synonymous with brutality and despotism. Unlike other dictators who aspired to eternity through propaganda and monuments, Amin depended on direct terror and the construction of an aura of unpredictability. Every act of government reflected his need to maintain absolute control, a mixture of theatricality, violence, and whim that destabilized both allies and enemies. His regime, between 1971 and 1979, turned Uganda into a space of generalized paranoia, where human life seemed to have no value in the face of the leader's will. In 1979, after the invasion by Tanzanian forces and internal pressure, Amin was overthrown and went into exile, first in Libya and later in Saudi Arabia. He remained there until his death in 2003, surrounded by a protected environment, while the country he once ruled sought to rebuild, heal its wounds, and confront the collective trauma left by his rule. His figure became a symbol of terror, of how the absolute concentration of power can corrupt morality and destroy society. Today, Idi Amin is remembered not for achievements or construction, but for the devastation he produced, a bitter lesson about the dangers of excessive ambition, personal fanaticism, and the absence of ethical limits among those in power. His name still evokes fear, chaos, and the ability of a single individual to alter the lives of millions, leaving deep scars that will take generations to heal. The story of Amin is also the story of Uganda, a country marked by hope, resistance, and reconstruction, which endured dictatorships, internal wars, and genocides, and which still seeks to understand how authority can turn into absolute horror. His legacy, dark and disturbing, serves as a universal warning: power without limits and the absence of morality can transform any nation into a terrain of fear and death. In the end, when reflecting on his life, the lesson is unsettling: the greatness of an individual is not always measured by what he creates, but also by the devastation he is capable of imposing, and the shadow of a dictator can spread across millions of lives, altering the memory and destiny of an entire nation. Don't forget to like, share, and leave your comment. Tell us who you want to see in the next video. The next story could be your choice.